are you?
Good, I'm okay. I'm over here recovering from last night's earthquake.
Girl, look, I was like, what's going on? I was like,
girl,
tripping?
Like, it was really intense. I woke up with a pimple.
Girl.
I got a stress.
Super intense. My legs were shaking. I was like, now, wait a minute. What is happening here? How is quarantine life, Queen?
It's lifing. Life is lifing. That's what I found. No matter what, the world keeps turning. No, it's been really intense. I've been sleeping a lot. I just got back on a normal sleep schedule. At first, I was kind of sleeping until like 2 o'clock in the afternoon and staying until 4 a.m. Yeah, that was nuts. But I'm working out still and like writing, which is nuts. I like, it's like, what do you do? Hold on, let me turn you up because I can't hear you.
Okay.
I'm such a grandma. I'm so bad at these lives, like trying to. There we go.
This is our new normal, right?
I know. Well, at least we can still hang out.
I know. We can. So I have my water. Remember yesterday I said, should I bring wine? But I have water. So
I'm proud of you.
Yes, I have the water.
Staying hydrated.
Staying hydrated. Congratulations on the season 2 pickup.
Thank you.
How did you guys find out that you guys got a pickup for season 2?
Okay, so this was hilarious because we didn't really know until we were shooting like promo for it. So we're like in the studio at BET, and when I went there, I was asking everybody. I was like, hey, so like, does anybody know? Like, for real, I'm tired, and I want to know. Like, it's hurting my soul to be like auditioning for other shows when I just want to do another season of this show. Right. And so like Tori, who does social media, was there, and I like looked her in the face. I was like, Tori, did the show get picked up? She was like, I don't know, knowing it was picked up the whole time. Right. So we sit down to shoot these promos, and they're like, so how would you guys feel if you got picked up for a second season? And I was like, huh? And I just like sat there, and everybody else was reacting. Like literally, the rest of the cast was like, it was me, and the girl plays Tracy, Rashida, and the girl plays Veronica. Oh my God, how am I forgetting her name right now? I'm such a butthole.
Your BFF, your cast.
Yes, I know. I suck at life. We were all sitting there, and it was just like, oh, the show's picked up, and we just started freaking out. I started crying. They were like happy immediately and like believed it, and I was just like, no, I don't really believe that. But,
wow. Yeah. I mean, it definitely deserved a pickup. I mean, I'm super into it. It's super relatable. We'll get into all of that. Let's get into your character. So you play Lane Roberts.
Yes.
He's a quirky, I don't know how I would describe Lane. How would you describe Lane? Explain to us what it's like to you.
I always say Lane is a way cooler version of myself. She's quirky, but she's still pretty self-confident. Like, she's not kind of like trying to figure out if she's cool enough or good enough. Like, she knows she's good enough. It's just a matter of figuring out her life. Exactly. She is a little selfish. I would definitely use that word for her right now. Hopefully that will be less of a trend. Yeah, that's really it. She's kind of like, even though she's middle-aged, like she's 35, she's operating from a place of being, I don't know, 23 or 22, which is like confusing. So I think she's a little like lost, trying to figure out who she is. Right. But she's still really fun. She's very selfish though.
I'm gonna get more into Lane. You're from Philly.
Right? I am. I grew up in West Philly.
So was this something, acting, that you always wanted to pursue? Being a comedian, being an actor, was this something you always wanted to do? What did you want to do?
So I wanted to be a dancer when I was little. Okay. And I was kind of encouraged to most of my life by my mom until I got to like high school. And I was like, okay, so I'm going to go to high school for dance because I want to be a performer. And she was like, there's no way. She was like, you're going to school, you're going to high school for college, you're going to college. I was like, I do not want to do college prep in high school. That's like, what is that? That's not even a major. And she was just like, no, you have to do it. So I did it, and I was miserable, and I was like, cool, I'm not going to college. She was like, you have to go to college. I was like, can I have college money? She's like, I don't have any college money. So I go to college. You know what I mean? She was like, you need to go to college. I was like, well, do you got going to college money? Okay. Right. And I got into some really good schools, like very expensive schools. And I kept switching from school to school. And I was like, I think I hate this. Like, I'm miserable. So I dropped out. Also, I didn't have enough money to be in any of these expensive schools.
Girl.
So I dropped out. And then I just randomly moved to New York, randomly took like comedy classes and was like, oh, okay, I like this. And then somehow got in front of like a really big agent and got picked up by the agent. And like, then my whole life kind of changed. Yeah. All of a sudden, I was like an actor. Like, this all happened. I think I moved to New York and I was there for 3 years before I got signed and started booking stuff, which was like really by mistake. Like, I was really just like, what do I do with my life? Like, who am I now? And I don't know, acting somehow became the thing that like made me feel whole. So that's what's been going on. But it was definitely a mistake. Like, this was not like
a good mistake, a beautiful mistake. You were
like it. Sometimes it is.
Right. No, it's a beautiful mistake. It is. I mean, I couldn't see anybody else playing Lane. Like, you're perfect. I mean, I couldn't see it. But you were working in New York, like doing stand-up and improv. Yes. And then you landed on Girl Code, MTV's Girl Code. Do you feel like, and also like your big break though was in Admission with Tina Fey and Paul Rudd.
That was, so that happened before I did Girl Code. Okay. And that's when I was like, okay, like this is something I can't ignore. I was like, oh, this is a joke. I'll do this for fun. And then I booked that movie and I was like, so what am I doing? And it was funny because I was going through like probably one of the worst breakups in my life at the time. Right now, it's like, ha ha ha, that's so funny that I cried about that. But at the time, I was just like, I just want to leave New York. Like, I went through this breakup. I was just like, am I an actor? And then the day I found out I booked that, I was like, how did I book a movie with like 2 people I admire so much? And my scenes were with them. And Paul Rudd was really sweet. Tina Fey was really sweet. And I was like, okay, so I have to listen to like what's happening around me and just keep doing this.
Right.
Yeah, that was nuts. That was really nuts.
Do you feel like those 2 like big moments in your career, like early on, prepared you for where you are now?
Sort of. It was such a big jump in time between that stuff happening and me booking bigger. Like, when I booked bigger, I was at a point where I was ready to stop acting. Like, I was really having a not fun time. It was a lot of the things that I was auditioning for were great parts, but not stuff that I felt like fit me or, without talking crap about auditioning, stuff that I just didn't think I need to be portraying as a Black woman, if that makes sense. Right. Also, a lot of stuff was asking for tons of full nudity, lots of graphic sex. And while there is sex in our show, in Bigger, I like the sex in the show. I think it's really cool to see a Black woman have agency in her sex life. Right. And I love all the sex in our show. I think it's really cool. As much as it stressed me out the shooting.
I have those questions.
Yes, we'll get into that for sure.
Yes.
It was just like a lot of the stuff I was like, yeah, it would be great if I booked this, but why do I have to be completely naked to be funny? Or why does the butt of every joke have to be my Blackness? Or why do I have to be like sexually assaulted to tell a story? Like, it was just too much of that. And I was just like, is acting for me? Is this what it means to be a Black actress? So I was ready to give up. And I mean, that was like probably like an 8-year span between Bigger and like me just having fun, and it felt like my career was kind of happening to me by mistake, and it was so fun when it was that. And then when it turned into I need to book a big job, it became really stressful, really stressful. And then I was like, I quit, and then Bigger happened, which is how it always goes.
Which is how it always goes, because God is like shining down on us, and He's like, okay, I'm ready to give you this. You've been waiting long enough. But so speaking of where you were in that moment of wanting to give up, where were you when you got the call to even audition for Bigger? Like, where were you mentally? Where were you?
This was like last year, like in March, I want to say. March feels right. And I had a day job at the time because I'd literally completely run out of money. So I was working at this place. Like, it was a nightmare. The people, it was a hotel, and the guests that would come there were so nasty to me. It was like out of control. Like, one woman wrote a racist review about me, and I was just like, so this is what I'm doing. I'm 35. I work somewhere I hate working. I'm not acting. I just live in LA, and I work to pay my rent. And it was just like, okay. And it was pilot season, so there were like a million auditions, and they were good. I was getting really close to stuff, but then I would lose it to somebody super famous. And I was like, okay, so I'm not super famous. I'm broke. I work at a hotel. Like, what is happening with my life?
Right.
And it was like one of my days off, I got the email for Bigger. It was like, oh, here's an audition. Here's the script. Let us know what you think about it. And I was reading the script and I was like, what the fuck? Like, why does this girl talk like me? Like, Lane's speech patterns are mine.
Right.
It was very, very weird. I was like, why does this girl sound like me? Like, I never get a script. Actually, one other time, it was a show called I Love Beck and Lucy, and and Lucy sounded exactly like me too, but like younger. But this was me. It was adult me. Like, a lot of the stuff Lane's going through, I was like, what the fuck? This is so weird. This is just so much like me. And I remember screen grabbing like one of the jokes and texting it to a friend and being like, oh my God, like, what is this? This isn't real. And I was looking at it and I was like, oh, it's produced by Will Packer and it's ordered to series. I was like, this is a lie. I was like, this is a lie. It was like #1 on the call sheet, like all this stuff that I had been dreaming of, right? Like literally. And I was like, dream role, dream, like everything. And I was just like, this isn't real. I'm going to go in. And I emailed my agent and I was like, yo, I love this. I'm absolutely going to go in.
Right.
And so I went in for the first audition, and I went in with Robbie Reed, and she's wonderful. It's just so like fantastic. I got called back in the room. They were like, you're coming back tomorrow. They printed out a full script, gave it to me. I came back for producer session, I want to say. And then I finally got to meet Felicia and Devon. I mean, that room was like the warmest producer session I've ever been in. They were just sitting there like,
hi.
I mean, they were like that to everybody. They were just like, oh, look at all these beautiful Black actors in here just being silly. And it was just beautiful. And so I emailed my reps after and I was like, yeah, I really want this job. I don't know who you have to call.
Right, but I need
you
job.
to get on the phone with everybody. I need to test for this role. Like, I want this.
Right.
So then I think we waited 2 weeks and they were like, okay, so we're doing a chem read and a screen test and a network thing all in one day. So this was like a whole day of auditioning. I auditioned with all the Reggies, which was hilarious. Terrence, who booked it. I remember when he came in the room, everybody like casting lost their shit. Like, he's gorgeous. He's like super tall. And also he's hilarious. Like, he was so fun. And I was like, oh my God, I hope he gets it. I hope I get it.
Right.
And then we tested like the groups, the friend groups, and the current friend group.
Your chemistry is so good.
Everybody's so fun and so talented. It's nuts. Like, I remember when we tested with that first group, I was just like, oh my God, like if we all book this would be a dream job.
Right.
Like, to work with people who are that talented, it really makes you be on your toes as an actor, and you have to be more talented. And it was just, we were just all feeding off each other, and they're just also like lighthearted and fun and excited to be there. Like, it was just perfect. So then that day ended with me not knowing if I got it. Even though it felt like I got it. I was like, all right, I've been here all day, but who knows? They were like, can you come back tomorrow to test with the Deons? So I was like, okay. And then I got there and I was the only Lane there with two Deons. And I was like, they were like, you know you have the role, right? And I was like, no, I don't know. And this the two guys auditioning for Deon. I was like, I don't know about that. And they were like, where's the other Lane, Tanisha?
Right.
And I was like, in the bathroom, they're coming later on today. I don't know. I was like, until I get an offer letter. So anyway, that day went, and later on that day, I found out I booked it. And I fell on the floor crying. It was wonderful. I moved to Atlanta like 4 days later, and that was
And here we are.
And here we are.
Here we are. I love the show's message of, is there something bigger, right? I find it very relatable. I'm 36, and I completely like, okay, wait a minute. You know, like I felt myself in some of the different scenes and episodes. I was like, wait, I totally relate to it, or I know somebody who relates to it. Tell me, what was your favorite part of bringing Lane to screen? How did you connect with her to, obviously you all are alike, but what did you bring her to screen for people to say, that's me. Lane is me.
I think with Lane, I just had to make sure I was really honest. And like, I get caught up in trying to be funny because I was a comedian for so long that like the like really strong emotional core of hers that needed to be there, because she does some real messy stuff and it needs to be portrayed in a way that she's not a bad person. Like, she's just making these decisions like in the moment, just stuff she's never done before. So she's just doing it to see what'll happen.
Right.
So that was the most important part to me, was to make sure I was portraying her from an honest place, and I was relating her actions to actions I've done that have been messy like that. I've done some really messy stuff. I definitely wasn't engaged and then had sex with someone, but I've done some stupid stuff. Like I've messed with people's hearts that I've cared about a lot and like lost them and all that kind of stuff. So I just wanted to make sure I was being honest with myself and honest with the story that I was supposed to tell. So everybody would see it and kind of be like, oh, that's messed up, but I get where she's coming from. So like every once in a while I'll get tweets like that when they're not dragging Lane. Mm-hmm. And it always feels really, they're like, I get it. I've been through that. I had 2 dudes in my life and things are missing from one. So I was messing with the other. And like, so that's nice. But that was the most important part to me for her.
And then you're breaking the fourth wall. I love how you're talking to the audience. Whose idea was that? Was that a collaborative idea between you and the writers or the producers? How did that come about?
That was actually Felicia Mary, who created the show. She's a very big fan of Fleabag. Mm-hmm.
And she's my star, I have to say.
She just saw her.
Yeah.
She's lovely.
Yeah.
You should talk to her. She's incredible. She's an incredible person. I'm so lucky to get to work for her and with her because everything was very collaborative with her. It was never like, do this and shut up. It was always like, oh, okay, you did that. Let's try it this way. Or, oh, what if we did these 2 things? Or what if we change this line? What do you think about this line? It was so much, there was so much respect there from her of my work. Right. So when we got to the fourth wall stuff, because we would shoot just like the regular version of the scene, and they'd be like, all right, so we're going to set up a camera, and this is going to be like your fourth wall. And I would have a different tone, and it was really finding like who we wanted the second lane to be. Second lane is like, hey guys, here's what's really going the fuck on. And then there's like the stuff she does in front of her friends, or like the guy she's dating that's like really different. Oh my God, I'm so jacked up on caffeine. Like,
that's what we do these for, so people can like get an inside like view into it. I think we're all here for this. So tell me, speaking of like the writers and the producers and Felicia, the subject matter on this show is very, like I said, relatable. People can watch your show and say, this has happened to me, or I know somebody this has happened to. But for that to go over well with the audience, it has to be authentic. And so your writer's room, I believe it's mostly made up of females who are African American. Is that correct?
Yes.
How important is that to have on a show like yours, to have that authentic representation of the voices that we see?
I think, well, for me, that was part of what determined whether or not I was going to take the job, to be honest. When I read a script that hasn't had input from Black women, that's supposed to be about Black women, I can tell immediately. It's usually kind of not relatable. It feels very surfacey. Right. This script had so much heart to it. Actually, all 10 scripts, I mean, and some of them were written by men, but still had because there are women putting input into it, Black women especially, everything still rings true. Right. And I think that's what, like, as a Black woman, when I watch TV shows that have Black women in them, I want to feel like, oh, this is real. I don't want it to feel like this could be anybody, or this is quote unquote colorblind. Right. And I don't need it to be like, hey, I'm Black. I'm a lady. I'm Black. Like, I don't need that, but I need it to be like realistic. Right. You know, like, otherwise, why do it? I don't need you to fake write a show about Black ladies. Right. Like, just don't do it. So yeah, our writers' room they were very caught up in making sure that the story was authentic and real, and that Black women that watch it can relate to it.
Definitely. Would you like to write or direct or go behind the scenes on this show?
On Bigger, I don't know. I don't know if I can write good enough for this show. I gotta be honest. Like, the writing on our show is really good. Like, I said to Felicia, I wanted to like write, and I was like, I'll write a spec, and then I was just like totally intimidated. Like, our show's really good, and our writers are so talented. I'll just do my little improv here and there on the show.
I love it. So let's get into, Greg. So first, I'm sorry for the people who haven't watched. You should go and like stream it right now, because what are people I mean, we're home, we're in quarantine, so go and watch it on BBC Plus. But I thought you were gonna go with Greg. You know, he was safe, and it was and then Dion, he was comfortable, familiar. You're a friend, right?
Yes.
And then at the end, I was kind of like, wait a minute, what's going on? How will this play out? Do you know how that will play out?
I know some things.
Can you give us a little hint at how that will
Can I give you any hints? I can do it. Felicia will, as soon as I get off this not FaceTime, this live, she will threaten my life. Okay. I know some things. I know many things, but I don't want to spoil anything. I get why you would think Lane would be with Greg.
Yeah.
That would have been really rough for her, because I think she would. I've not done a similar situation, but I dated somebody for a really long time, and it got to be like a year and a half, and I was just kind of like, I do not like you. Like, I'm in this just because this feels like I'm like checking off check boxes. Like, you're not gonna go anywhere,
right?
And then all of a sudden, I started realizing that I hated everything about him.
Oh no!
And he broke up with me, and I was like, great.
So have you ever dated a Reggie?
Have I ever dated a Reggie? I don't think I have. I'm like, Reggies are really like Reggie type dudes, like side dudes or dudes that are like, I'm just gonna give you the D. They scare me.
That scared me too. I was like, no, wait a minute. He was like comfortable with it. I'm just okay. I'm just a side dude. Like, what?
Yes.
And
also I don't know how to do that. Like, I can't just have sex with people. Like, I'm gonna show up at your house and be like, hey, I'm your girlfriend. Hey,
let me in.
Let me in. Exactly. I'm your girlfriend. I'm outside.
So those scenes with Reggie, were they? Did you have a body double, or was it you in?
So for some of the scenes there was a body double.
Okay.
For some of them, not a body double.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's funny because when they asked me about the body double, they were like, oh man, like, who do you want? And I was like, I want Meg the Stallion. And they were like, we cannot get you Meg the Stallion. I was like, first of all, no one's going to believe that. No one's going to do it.
I can't.
So they got me a little teeny Meggish the Stallion, I say. She's like gorgeous and has like, she's way like curvier than I am. Like, her body's sick. Okay. And I was like, great, I like this line. I like this line. And I was like, girl, this is what I want. Yes. Because
I mean, I was like, oh wow.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not that limber. Like,
that's all I'm gonna say on that. Again, everybody needs to go and stream Bigger on BET Plus right now. You know what else I love about the show though is the friendship, the Black women's friendship. Like, you guys were friends since college, and many of us can relate to carrying over our friendships from school throughout our to adulthood. I love the dynamic between you two, and I love how you guys show it that it's important to stick together and be there for each other.
Yes.
Did you guys know each other prior to the show?
No, it's crazy. Angel Conwell, who plays Veronica, she actually, I don't think did she test with me? Yeah, she did. Okay. So we were in like these separate rooms and separate areas while testing. I had never met anybody before. Mm-hmm. And there were so many people there the day of testing. But they threw us in this room together and we tested. And I was like, whoa, this felt really good. Like, this felt like normal friends. And then once we all found out we booked it, once we got to Atlanta, we just all started hanging out. And Angel and Rashida are like the sweetest people ever. It was just very easy to be like, oh yeah, we've been best friends forever. Of course we have been. This makes sense. So
it was such a natural chemistry on screen.
And they're very funny and just ready to improvise, ready to like whatever.
Yes. So Tanisha, we are in a space now where everybody's home. Everybody's trying to figure out, okay, I'm home, so how do I create? What do I create? Do I cook? Do I make hand sanitizer? Like, what do I do? What do I do? And I know that you would put up your YouTube skits, and that also, back in the day, that also would help you with being seen, right? Because you may not have necessarily booked the big job, but you were putting out your work.
Yes.
Do you think that it's important for creatives? I'm not going to say especially now because people are dealing with this in all types of ways, but do you think that it's important for creatives to not just wait for the opportunity, but to put out whatever it is, their work out to the public so people can at least see it and that it's out, whether it's good or bad? What do you think?
I think it's really important to create just because you'll get better as you create more things. Like, your taste will change and everything will sharpen. It's really hard to create right now. I mean, I started off in the first, 2 weeks of this, writing a lot. Like, I was really doing good because I thought it was going to end. And also, we were supposed to shoot the show. So I was like, oh, this is all going to end. Like, we'll be fine. And then it was like, oh, are we going to be fine? And now I'm like, I don't know what's happening now. So it's so hard to put my brain in a space that is creative and like creating good material.
Right.
But yes, it is very important to constantly be creating, constantly writing. You're only going to get better at things the more you do it. As an actor especially, you have to always be acting. You got to always be in an acting class, always like have an accountability group with your actor friends, like just practicing scenes, always reading books about acting or reading in general, and also spending time with your friends and people you care about is going to help you be a better actor and writer. But right now it's really hard. Like I don't want to write anything. I just want to sleep and eat bread.
And I think that that's totally okay. I'm glad that you brought that up because I think that we should have that because there have been so many memes or like quotes going around like, if you're not coming out of this with your book, if you're not coming out of this with, I mean, it's insane. And so I think that that's important that you say, because we're going through a trauma, basically.
Yes, every day. Like, I was going to do a whole thing with, like, my hair and my makeup today, and I just, like, there was literally an earthquake last night. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to put some foundation on, but I can't do all this. Not today. I can't. I just don't have it. I just don't have it in me to glam it out, you know? So, yeah, take your time and deal with this the way you can. And when you feel better, you'll be able to create something.
Tanisha, on that note, thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you for having me.
Do you know when you guys will come back? Do you have any idea?
I don't know, girl. I don't know. We're definitely coming back. Felicia has been running a writer's room. We're still in pre-production. It's just a matter of when it'll be safe for us to start again.
Right.
And it looks like they're starting to, for some reason, open up parts of Georgia. I don't really understand how that's a thing, but I'm not trying to be over there until it's safe. So
exactly, you stay your butt here until it's safe.
It says like in LA we have kind of a stay.
Yeah, until next 15th, I think.
Yes. So I don't foresee starting before then, but yeah, this is weird. I'm trying to stay so positive for this right now for you.
We have to stay positive.
We got to stay positive.
Tell the people where they can watch. I've played it a few times, but tell people where they can watch.
Oh yeah, you guys watch Bigger on BET Plus. It's an app. There's a 7-day free trial. You can also watch it on Roku TV. You can watch it on Apple TV. You can watch it on Amazon channels. BET Plus is fantastic. Please check it out. There's 10 whole episodes of Bigger for you to watch.
And you'll be back for season 2.
And we'll be back for season 2, yes.
When this is all over. Thank you so much, Tanisha, for talking to us.
Fun.
Love your energy. So proud of you and excited for everything
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much. I'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Let me get out of here.
Okay.